Meet Erik. It's 2 a.m. and he's been stuck in a scrolling loop for 3 hours, watching videos he won't even remember tomorrow. Erik is experiencing brain rot, a state of mental fogginess and cognitive decline resulting from an overabundance of trivial, unchallenging online content. It's not just a meme, it was named the Oxford Word of the Year for 2024 because it captures a global crisis in how we use our free time. Erik feels drained and agitated, but he can't stop. Erik, the numbers are alarming. First, usage of the term brain rot increased by 230% between 2023 and 2024, reflecting a massive spike in societal concern. Second, researchers have found a 13% increase in depression risk for every additional hour an adolescent spends on social media. Finally, a 6-month study of heavy scrollers revealed a 35% drop in prefrontal impulse control, making it physically harder for Erik to put the phone down. Erik's brain is being rewired by variable rewards, similar to a slot machine. Every like or viral video triggers a dopamine surge in his nucleus accumbens, creating an addictive feedback loop. Over time, this leads to the downregulation of D2 dopamine receptors, meaning Erik now needs more stimulation just to feel normal. This chronic overstimulation shrinks gray matter in his prefrontal cortex, the area responsible for focus, planning, and resisting impulses. Erik is going to show us how to fight back. Step 1. Set a digital sunset by putting your phone in another room 60 minutes before bed to protect your circadian rhythm. Step 2. Switch your phone to Grayscale Mode to make the bright dopamine-triggering colors less appealing. Step 3. Delete the most addictive apps for a 7-day period to allow your receptors to reset. Step 4. Create a real-time 100 list, 100 analog activities like reading or hiking to do when the urge to scroll hits. If Erik sticks to this, the gains are immense. Within 2 weeks, research suggests that brain tissue shrinkage can begin to reverse as the brain rebalances its chemistry. Erik will experience a restored attention span, improved memory consolidation, and a significant decrease in digital burnout. Most importantly, he will regain his incentive motivation, the willingness to expend effort for long-term real-world goals rather than settling for instant, empty clicks. Don't let your mind become part of the dopamine collapse. Join Erik and thousands of others who are reclaiming their focus. Subscribe to this channel for more evidence-based strategies to fight the attention economy and protect your cognitive health. Hit the notification bell. It's the only alert your brain actually needs to stay informed and resilient. Let's trade the scroll for the soul. Erik was shocked to learn that brain rot isn't a new term. Henry David Thoreau first used it in his book Walden to criticize a society obsessed with trivial materialistic ideas. He compared the decline in intellectual standards to the potato rot of the 1840s, warning that a lack of complex thought would lead to a fatal decline in the human spirit. Today we face a digital version of that same rot. Erik is a commodity in the attention economy. Algorithms are solely designed to capture his attention for profit, with no regard for his mental well-being. These systems use persuasive design features like infinite scroll and autoplay to keep Erik in a continuous loop. Tristan Harris calls this a race to the bottom of the brainstem, exploiting Erik's most primitive survival instincts to maximize screen time. Erik realizes he can't remember his best friend's phone number. This is cognitive offloading, the tendency to rely on devices as external memory stores. This leads to the Google effect, where Erik's brain stops working to retain information it knows is stored online. Studies show heavy media multitaskers have 40% less activity in brain regions associated with memory consolidation compared to focused learners. Scientists studying Zippy, a high-impulsive rat, discovered that pre-existing differences in dopamine receptors predict addiction risk. Like Zippy, Erik may have lower baseline D2/3 receptor levels, which makes him more likely to jump the gun for instant rewards. This biological trait means Erik must work twice as hard to maintain the same level of self-control as his peers. Erik worries about his younger siblings, members of Generation Alpha. Because their prefrontal cortex won't fully develop until their mid-20s, they lack the braking system needed to resist addictive algorithms. Exposure to high-frequency digital stimuli during these years can disrupt normal brain maturation and lead to a lifelong popcorn brain, a state where only rapid stimuli can hold their attention. Erik often finds himself doom-scrolling, searching for negative news that makes him feel anxious. Humans are evolutionarily wired to prioritize negative information for survival, but the internet provides an infinite supply of it. This constant exposure keeps Erik in a state of hypervigilance, hyperactivating his amygdala and increasing his long-term risk for depression and anxiety. Sometimes Erik wakes up from a scroll hole and realizes an hour has passed. This is zombie scrolling, mindless usage with no purpose or benefit derived. It creates a state of dissociation or time distortion where Erik's awareness of the real world vanishes. While it feels like a break, it actually leads to cognitive depletion and mental exhaustion. Erik checks his post every 5 minutes to see if he got any new likes. This social validation looping mimics the brain activity of a gambler at a slot machine. The unpredictability of when a like will appear creates a maybe factor that keeps his brain tuned in and vigilant. If the likes don't come, Erik experiences approval anxiety and a negative self-concept. Erik notices he's losing the patience to read a full article. Brain rot promotes a lazy brain adaptation, where the mind prefers quick, easy heuristics over deep analytical thinking. This creates attention fragmentation, making it physiologically uncomfortable for Erik to sustain focus on long-form material. He is becoming a passive recipient of input rather than an active thinker. Erik stays up scrolling because he thinks he's not tired, but his phone is lying to his brain. Blue light from the screen suppresses melatonin, tricking his hypothalamus into thinking it's still daytime. This circadian asynchronization leads to insomnia and poor quality sleep, which in turn worsens his cognitive decline the next day. Erik finds that things he used to enjoy, like playing guitar, now feel boring. This is anhedonia, the inability to feel pleasure from natural rewards because his dopamine system is so desensitized by digital highs. He also suffers from emotional dysregulation, reacting with disproportionate frustration to small daily inconveniences. His brain's anti-reward state has made him more sensitive to stress and less resilient. Stanislav Terman warns of a dopamine collapse, where high-effort investments like education or skill building are outcompeted by low-effort digital rewards. Erik's generation is the first to have its motivational engine hijacked on a civilizational scale. If we stop valuing future rewards because the present is so hyperstimulated, we risk systemic economic stagnation and a decline in societal progress. Erik hasn't seen his friends in person for weeks, though they talk on social media daily. This artificial interaction lacks the complex sensory and emotional input Erik's brain needs to maintain empathy and social skills. Furthermore, his sedentary scrolling habit increases his risk for obesity and metabolic disorders, creating a vicious cycle of declining physical and mental health. Erik's journey shows us that while the digital age presents an unprecedented dilemma, our brains are remarkably resilient. Because of neuroplasticity, we can actively rewire our reward systems and reverse the cognitive stagnation and mental fogginess caused by excessive consumption of trivial content. Recovery takes time, often 6 to 12 months for full neurotransmitter balance, but the gain in mental stamina, focus, and emotional regulation is worth every minute spent away from the infinite scroll. Erik has reclaimed his life by replacing empty digital dopamine hits with analog activities that foster genuine fulfillment. If you've found value in Erik's transformation and the science we've explored, please like this video and share it with a friend who might be stuck in the loop. Don't forget to subscribe to join our growing community as we provide the evidence-based strategies needed to protect our collective cognitive health. Together we can overcome brain rot and restore our ability to strive for a meaningful future.